All right, hello everybody, and welcome to this Noon Learning Series session about Seesaw progress. I actually had a Noon Learning Series going on like from February to April, but I had to add this addendum on because of this new feature inside of Seesaw, so I had to make sure that I wanted to share it out with everyone. I think this is something I'm going to start next year too. I had something every week at noon on Wednesday, all different topics, all different platforms, just a half an hour of me showing you what I know and being able to share out. So it was successful, so I think I'm going to keep doing it, and then I'll be able to put that out on Twitter and in my newsletter and everything. So if people want to join in, that would be great. So let's go ahead and get started with today's session. I'm going to snap my camera off for people that are here live. For those who are here live, make sure that if you want to ask a question, go ahead and you can slow my roll. I will have time at the end for Q&A. You can also pop a question into the chat as well, and I'll make sure that I can look at those as well. And if for some reason a question comes up afterwards, you are going to get an email from me that has the link to this recording, all of the resources, and everything in it, so you can just reply to an email and ask me there. So I'm really ready to help everyone. So we're talking about progress from Seesaw, the new feature. And my name is Tricia Lewis, and I'm the Technology Integration Professional from the Richland School District in Richland Center, Wisconsin. So you can see my little pin on the map there. If you were to look at it in the wide scope, I'm about halfway in the middle of nowhere between Minneapolis and Chicago. So if I got in my car and drove about 200-ish miles either way, I could be in the city, but I'm not in the city. So that is where I'm located at right now. This is kind of my home stomping grounds, and I'm so happy to be here. This is my 5th year at this school district and my 26th year in education. Started out as a band teacher and now doing the world of technology for about the last 7 years. So this is what I know, and I'm glad to be able to share with you today. And what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about progress. And what is it? What is that about for Seesaw? What is this new feature? I'm going to go over the progress iconography because we have some new icons. This is nothing that your students have to learn, but these are something that you will have to learn in order to be able to better use progress. We're going to look at progress in the activities view, and we're going to look at progress in the skills view. I have a little bit of some other info to share at the end, not a whole bunch, because there's not a whole lot to have to set up with this. It's kind of a turnkey thing. It's just on and ready to go, and then we'll do a little wrap up at the end. So what is progress? Progress is this new Seesaw features that allows teachers and administrators, remember that, teachers and administrators, to refine the view of student submissions or lack of submissions for class activities. You can see who completed what and at what stage of completion they are at, all in one view. I don't know about you, but if before, how did you know those activities were finished and be able to check and go back and forth between each activity? Too many clicks to be able to see all that at once. Progress takes all of that out of your needing to do. You just be able to have one view and see what it's all about. So the first thing we're going to go over is just some new iconography that you're going to see in progress. And I have some still shots that we're going to go into, and then I'm also going to go into my sample class, so you'll see a live class with these shots as well in here. So the different iconography for progress is an empty red circle shows an activity that has not been started by a student. If you see an orange check mark and it's kind of got a broken circle on one side and a completed circle on the other side, that gives you your draft, which makes sense. You're in progress of it, but you're not quite finished. That green unfilled check means that the student has submitted it, but it's waiting for teacher approval. And then that green filled check is approved and completed. One other little piece of iconography you're going to see in my stills coming up here and in my live session is that if you have a green filled check with a star beside it and a number, it says if there's a skills rating associated with that item, the star rating is noted next to the post status. So you'll be able not only to see that it's been approved and completed, but where they're at in your skills if you're using skills in your system. Okay, so let's take a look at a still shot, and then I'm going to go into my live class as well. So the activities view, you're going to have some filter options. You're going to be able to hover over a student to get some summary. You'll be able to tap a student name and get a detailed report as well. That you can share out. Now remember, I said this view is for teachers and administrators, but that doesn't mean you can't share out something with parents or other people that may need to see this. It's just in a little bit different way. So in the activities view here, you can see that this is my sample class, and you can see my students in the various stages of completion of the activities they have to do. First thing I want you to pay attention to is you can choose the date range for this. So if you need to go back a couple weeks and see where they're at for those, for the progress for that, you can. I just chose this date range right here. So you'll be able to toggle the view in the date range. Remember, we're in the activities view of our progress area right here, okay? The activities view versus skills view, and I'll be going over that. Over here is the activity summary. So we have each activity. I love that you can see the little icon for each activity up here too. So if you don't quite remember it by the name, you certainly can remember it by the icon here. When we look over a little bit further, we can see that 2 of 6 students have completed this. 4 of 6, 1 of 6, 6 of 6 in this category. Not only do you get that by those numbers, but you get a little bit more of activity by these color bars that are here too. Remember I said we had iconography, and you can see those different icons there. But by the color, you can just look and see that that dark green means 100% of have been completed. Light green, yellow, red. So without even having to count or think, you know where your levels of percentage of students that have completed it. This view is by the student summary view. So we have all of our student names over here, and we can see how many activities they have completed on each one. In the activities view, you're also going to be able to filter. You can filter by one or more of these different areas. Let me pop into the live view so that you can see that. So I'm in the activities view here, and this is the live view, same as the still view. I did that so that if we were on the recording, you could go back and forth and be able to see what that looked like on the still view versus and on the slide deck as well. So if I have that here, if I hover over the activity, I can see the name of the activity, when it was assigned, how many responses completed, and my detailed outlook of 2 have not started, 2 are in draft, and 2 are completed. And as I hover over each one, I get all of that really quickly. Super quick seeing that. You don't have to click on anything. I'm just simply moving my mouse back and forth to be able to see that. Now conversely, if I go over the student view, I can see the different student view kind of with the same things, okay? So Freddie F down here, now because I just did this as a teacher, I just put some in, but I can even see that he never logged in. I can also see the last time students logged in right away over that top view. So the last time Kathy C logged in was May 5th. Ooh, that's really some good quick information to be able to see there. And how did I get to this progress view? Well, over on this right hand side, you're going to see this new tab over here called Progress. Before it was Journal Activities Inbox, and I think it was Blog. Blog is still available, just so you know, it's still available, but it's just that they put Progress out in front here, okay? So if I do some filters, let's just do some filters. So I'm going to grab Kathy C for a filter. I could go by a folder if I wanted to, and I could just go by a skill if I wanted to. So I can have multiple things going on here and then be able to cross them out if I want to as well. Remember, I could have Kathy C and I could have Bobby B. So maybe those students were paired for a certain activity, or they're about the same range of completion, or they have some of the same skills in mind. You can toggle by the number of students that you can have up at the same time. So if you have students maybe by groups too, you could see which group is at a certain time. So you can have all those students in there. I love that you can be able to have all of those different toggle. Okay, you can toggle all those different filter options at one time, using one or none. That's totally up to you. Now, if we're in the activities view, there's also the skills view. When you're in the skills view of progress, it helps you understand student mastery of key skills or standards, and that's how you set up those skills. You also have the same filter options in there, the date, the student name, the folder, the skill. You can download over skill mastery reports as well as copy information for each student. So let me show you the still version of this as well. So at the top, okay, we're in our progress view, but we've toggled, instead of being in activities view, we've toggled to that skills view over there. Again, you get the date range, but here's something new that we did not see on the activities view, download. And I'm going to show you what those downloads look like. So here we can see the skills and the number of pieces of work a student has completed for each skill. So in the activities view, that's kind of, like what this truly says is progress. We can see who hasn't started, who's got a draft going on, who's got something submitted, but I haven't approved it yet. But this is something completed, and what you have given them for their completion in that skills view there. So we can see those stars going on, and we can see which skills going on. So if I have untagged activities versus a tagged activity, now I only just have a couple things because this is one of my sample classes here, but this could keep going on and on and on and on, and then you would see all that. Again, all those same filter options there as well. Let me flip into the live view of skills. So how do I get to that skills view? Simply a toggle right there. So we have activities view and skills view. But the first thing I just want to make sure that I am is in that progress view over there. So we got our skills view. Here's that date range again. Here's our students that we can see. I can click on one particular student and I can see that the progress report, okay? I'm going to come back to that in one moment. I can also go over untagged here, and I can just see all of those different activities for that student as well. So just really quickly, that those are the ones that are untagged. I'm going to go back to my skills view here. Let me do an overall download. So again, this is not very representative of what your real classroom would be about, because this is just a sample classroom. I just have a few activities thrown in. But what does the download look like? When I click on download, it's going to take a moment and it's going to process. And then you see, and I'm using Chrome, it popped right down here and I get a CSV file of this export. Well, what does the export look like? Let's go ahead and open that. Now this does open up in Excel, but if you don't have Excel, you can certainly open this file in Google Sheets, or if you're in an Apple user, you can open this up in Numbers as well. Now this is kind of crunchy, so I'm going to go ahead and take some of these columns here and kind of stretch them out a little bit. We can see that all the different categories here. And once you get something in this CSV file, you're going to be so much able to filter by student name, by skill grade, by category. You can arrange this anything that you want to. And what I love, look right here. Link to most recent item in Seesaw. So I can go ahead and get right to that link and open it up. So if I'm just digging inside of this data that's inside of this report and I'm like, what does that mean there? What is that one all about? I can go ahead and click on that, and that is probably going to open up, and I get to go right to that post to see what Bobby B did on that post. I can approve it, I can send it back, I can delete it, but that gives this data more of a voice here. Instead of just raw data, you can click right on it and be able to go into that view and see that. You're also going to get the date of the most recent score as well, and what the most recent score is for that category as well. So if you have your skills set up, okay, so however you're doing that, if you're using some school standards, some district standards, state standards, a mixture of all, that's how your system is going to be in here. And now you have all of this data that you're going to be able to pull out and see where they're at, all in one spot. That is the biggest power, I think, of the progress view, is the data that you can pull out without having to write it down or screenshot it and all that stuff in between. If we go back into that skills view. Remember, this was the download for the whole class up here. But what if I wanted to get information and send it to one of my parents? Or just wanted to send something maybe on to another teacher, or to maybe an interventionist. If something, if you have RTI, you have somebody that you're going to say, hey, you know, this is our skills that we're trying to accomplish here, and I just can't get, you know, this is where we're at. So if I wanted the individual student progress, I'm going to hover over the student. And remember, when I did that, this little window is going to pop up, and I'm just going to click the word copy. Then I can open up an email, a Google Doc, whatever I want, and paste that in there. So this is how you can communicate with parents. If they want to see a progress report, you can do that. It's not something that they can't just go on to their family view and see this. Remember, this progress is for teachers and admins. Teachers, you have it right here. If you have your Seesaw administrator that needs to go in, they just simply go into the class and go into progress, just like how the teacher would. It's just one, you know, they can see all the classes at once. So if I copy that, I'm just going to go ahead and open up my notepad just so you can see what it would look like when I paste it. And like I said, you could paste this into a Google Doc, into an email, whatever you wanted to. But that's what it looks like when I paste it in. And then you're free to add some more notes or anything that you wanted to as well, okay? So it has that progress report going by the single person. And to get out of that view, what I simply did is I just clicked anywhere outside of the window to close that. Notice there's not like an X or anything to close it. To get out of that progress report view, just click anywhere outside the window. Now remember, Progress View is available only on the web. So if you were using your iPad or Android tablet, or even on your phone, Progress View is not on those mobile apps. It's in the web only, and this is for Seesaw Plus and Seesaw for School customers only. So people that have free Seesaw, this is something that they're not going to be able to utilize. Remember, filters can be used by themselves or in combination with either an activities or skills view in that progress. Be able to combo those filters. That's a really powerful way to be able to get really granular on the data that you want to look. In your class settings, you can customize the progress, star rating, and the color scheme. Let's take a look at that really quickly. I'm going to go back into my sample class, and of course, if I want to get into the class settings, I'm going to hit that wrench in the upper right-hand corner. And if I go down a little bit further, we are going to see progress here. So either you have entered these in, or if you're Seesaw for Schools, they've entered your skills in there. You can adjust your skills rating scale if you want it to be 3, 4, 5, or 6 stars. And you can adjust your activities and color schema here. So the one that I have is the default one. To me, that makes the most sense because you're getting a wide range of colors. In my opinion, I think this would be harder to look like, because how are you going to say, okay, it's the light pinkest one? No, not that one. The other pink one. No, not this one. And same thing with the green. I like to have this little bit of variety, because you can definitely know the difference between red and yellow, and then light green and dark green. But with all just that kind of rose and green color here, that wouldn't be the view for me to have in there. But you can customize it the way that you want to have that. And again, that was in your class settings. Of course, in your wrench, and scrolling down a little bit, and you have progress. And like I said, this was something that you do not have to enable. This is just on. If you're a Seesaw Plus customer or a Seesaw for Schools customer, it's just there. You didn't have to enable it. Your admin didn't have to enable it. It just showed up. If for some reason you are not seeing it, make sure that your browser is up to date. I highly recommend Chrome, because it just seems to work best in Chrome, but of course it will work in Edge and Firefox as well. And you would just make sure that those browsers are up to date to make sure that you're going to see Seesaw progress. Now, with that, we're at a wrap up. Now, if anybody has any Q&A, you are more than welcome. Like I said, you can drop it in the chat if you wanted to, or you can just go ahead and ask live. Let me just do a little quick wrap up here. I see Dana has a question here, and I'll come back to that in 1 second. So the resources for this session are going to be found on my website, and I did put a link to that in the chat. You're also going to get that link sent to you post-meeting with a link to the recording for this session, so you don't have to worry about, oh, I have to take it and click it and remember it and everything. In your link that, or in your email that you're going to get from me, I have a 3-question feedback form about this session. I would appreciate it because I take feedback very seriously, and that helps me grow and learn as a presenter, as a teacher, as a learner for everything. And something special for this session, not only the people that are here live, but if you are watching this recording in the next few days, I have 3 prize packs to give away. This is an iPivo mirror cam and an awesome Seesaw sticker sheet. Coveted Seesaw stickers that you can't find anywhere else. Now, this form is open for U.S. addresses only, and it's open until May 7th at noon Central Time. Just one note that link, all that can be found on my website here for the Noon Learning Series, and I pop Seesaw Progress right at the top, and you can go ahead and get to that wrap-up slide, and all of those links are right there. So if for some reason my email doesn't get to you, or it got in your junk folder, you can still be able to get to my website very easily enough. Now, with that, Dana has a question. I had a teacher tell me that a student submitted work, she approved it, and it showed up as not completed. Okay, interesting. And are you saying that in regard to the progress, Dana, or that just is something that just recently happened?
No, that was for the progress. So she went to look at the progress for her class, but this particular student, it was just showing up as she didn't do the work, even though it was already approved and completed.
Oh, and how many students did that affect? Just that one student?
It was a couple of them, I think.
Oh, that is really unique. I would go into that Seesaw helpline and maybe drop that in. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it was just a little glitch of something that got caught in between. Could the student resubmit the work?
I can check. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe have the teacher unapprove it or turn it back, and then have the student reapprove it and see if that does it. Okay. Emily says here, I didn't realize that if I hover the student's name, that'll show me the last time they logged on or never did. Thank you. Yes, that is a very powerful thing there. Remember, that's in my activities view here, and if I hover over that student, last time Abby A, boy, that's a bad student. She hasn't logged in since January 25th. And Ellen E, I don't know how Ellen got all those activities done. She's never logged in, but she must be magic or something like that. This is a very cool thing to do too. If you're seeing this and maybe you need to provide evidence to a parent or a admin about a student not logging in or showing that last time, here's a little tip. I'm on a PC and I'm going to use the Windows Snip and Sketch tool. Did you know if you do the drop down right here, it says snip in 3 seconds? So it gives me the time to be able to get this drop down and just pause there. Now I can take that screen snip and be able to send that on to my admin. So that way you can get that, because otherwise how would you get it at the same time? That gives that screen snip, and then you can really take a little focus on it, be able to copy and paste that and send it to the parent, to the admin, co-teachers, whatever that you need there. So that's just a little tip trick there about Snip and Sketch to be able to see that if you needed to report back to that. Now with that, I just want to make sure, does anybody else have any questions or comments about Seesaw Progress? So I want to say thank you to everyone that attended this session today. If you were here live, thank you so much for joining live today, taking this time out of your day to be here live. If you're watching the recording, thanks for watching the recording during this time. If you registered for this session, you're going to get all this sent to you, and you'll be able to get to the links and see whatever you need. Again, one more thing, if you need any bit of follow-up from me, you are more than welcome to respond to my email, or you can also find me on Twitter. I have Facebook, all that kind of stuff. But if you get to my website at trishalewis.com, all of my links are available right across the bottom for my social media channels, and you can go through my contact me and get to me as well. So thank you so much for joining today. Hey everyone, have a good one. Be safe and be well.